Satisfied that the violence is gone, Calder will, like, with a flick of the wrist, the blade will just vanish.
Nice.
Greta's just standing there holding the crossbow, just sobbing.
I'm unlocking movement so you can move around again. People begin to sort of filter back in, although a lot of people are holding like cloths over their nose as they begin to take their seats again. And Durnan will go ahead and join you in the above room where we kind of started this game session.
Calder will very hesitantly, but because he's not great with touch, but will reach out and pet Creether's shoulder. You can summon him again. It'll be fine.
He's never died before.
I'm sure it will be very traumatic, but he's built to survive it.
Stupid troll. Kicks the troll.
The troll's body. I mean, you're kind of small and it's kind of big. Never mind. You don't have the strength to kick it into the portal, unfortunately.
No, I'm not facing the right direction either.
The guard that was standing there that was in combat will begin to sort of drag its body toward the portal, but unfortunately, it's kind of it's mostly burned at this point, and it's kind of a charred husk, but it's still pretty big. He's having a bit of a hard time moving it.
Echo will help him, but I'm not very strong either.
Calder's not helping because he doesn't have strength worth a damn. But basically, he's looking at any giblets that look like they might start regenerating. He's just bursting into flames as
awesome.
he can.
Yeah, no problem. So you're able to drag the troll's body over to the Yawning Portal and kind of dump it down there as a warning to others. And what do you do now? Everyone's kind of going back to business now. You had your 15 seconds.
Echo's gonna clap the guard on the side and be like, "Hey man, I owe you a drink. I have a thing to go finish, but I'll find you in a bit."
I'll take you up on that.
Kretha kind of is holding the crossbow. Thank you for your help.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
She's talking to Durgan.
Yeah, Durgan is it has kind of a sad silence about him. The guard thanks Echo and says, "Yes, tonight would look a lot better with a belly full of mead."
Echo, stop hitting on the guard. We have a meeting.
I'm not goes over with you and apropos of being overly familiar, gets an arm under Kretha's arm and helps her get up and start maybe a little forcefully in the direction of the room.
Yeah.
But
Kretha is very young.
Echo's just an inch or two taller.
An inch or two taller, but kind of older in I think a couple of years at least, but also a lot of experience.
You're much more worldly.
Much more worldly. Oh,
just before they get to that room, Echo is going to look across to the acolyte who blessed him. Is going to be like, "Hey, I owe you a drink too. I'll see you in a bit."
I have abstained from such things, but thank you.
I'll get you some cheese sticks. It'll be fine. Closes the door.
So you get back into the sort of private room, and this time, Durnan himself is sitting in the chair on the corner. "So," he says, "it seems like I owe you a bit of a debt, although, to be fair, the exposure you just got is very likely to gain you some interest and possibly some financial gain. But thank you very much. This is not a usual occurrence here, but on occasion..."
The reputation of this place speaks otherwise.
Yes, there was another troll that came up a few weeks back, and I don't know if it's an organized thing or if something's putting them up to it, but they love it.
You didn't call it the Yawning Portal because it wasn't a pit into a place with monsters, that's all I'm saying.
There's a reason why most adventurers who plan on taking the chain down into the portal pay for their drinks in advance.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's just occasion. But the thing about any portal is that things can pass in two directions.
So it sounds to me, from what Barnabas here has said, that you're seeking a means to bring back a friend who perished in combat, yes?
Calder abruptly becomes very stone-faced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Echo is going to, like, not very sleight of handy, but, like, put the fishbowl back into the bag of carrying. And, like,
That is accurate.
What can I do to help?
I don't know. I thought we were trying to lay low a little bit as Echo looks over at Barnabas.
He looks
Thought you
back at
didn't-
you.
You didn't want to draw too much attention to yourself.
Did you expect me to stay in this room when a troll, 2 trolls, were attacking the bar? Don't you think perhaps that in itself would have been a bit more suspicious than what I did?
I know I would be suspicious of any dwarf that didn't involve himself in a fight.
Besides, that was fucking awesome.
No, it was a great kick. Hit
You've
before
gotten,
it wasn't
you've
so
se-
great.
You seem stronger since we last saw you, sire.
Well, our adventures and the adventures that you've had in the interim have motivated me to take a bit more of an active role in my reign.
Calder actually seems like very pleased by that answer. He'll nod. Like, yes, good, thank you.
Preetha walks around because she hasn't quite figured things out yet, but she walks around. She's still holding Durgan in like this weird, like hug carry as opposed to like how she normally carries a crossbow. And she's like, "I am sorry. He came to help me fight. And like goes to give the crossbow back."
Barnabas waves it away
right now.
and says, "It's clear that the two of you have established a relationship, and I think perhaps he's better off in your hands than mine. A bit of advice, if I can be so bold. Perhaps you ought to take up smithing."
Me be a
You have the greatest smith in dwarven lore in your mind. Perhaps consider it.
Maybe start with like wire wrapping, like work your way up. Like,
There's not too many goblins, miss.
Then you'll
No.
be famous as one of the few.
And that is exactly correct. Many of my kind will despise the idea, and I find that delicious.
Barnabas, there's a reason I continue to like you.
But unfortunately, let's get back to the matter at hand.
Interesting, I guess. And she kind of wanders back to
Durnan,
the chair, just like so.
Durnan, what can you tell us about the Xanathar? Durnan says, "Well, other than what you already know, he's a paranoid lunatic, but again, something you don't already know. How much do you all know about beholders in general?"
Only what's written in arcane texts. They're usually alone. They're usually extremely megalomaniacal. They're fiercely dangerous.
Have you picked up a copy of Volo's book yet?
Not yet.
They are on sale in the city. In fact, I believe
Of course
Volo
they
himself is doing a book signing at some time in the near future. Might be a good idea to pick up the book, because I do believe the Beholders have an entry in Volo's guide.
Does that mean we have to talk to Volo?
No, not necessarily. Not unless you wish to have your book signed.
I have no interest in having my book signed by that man.
Wait, so there's just a book that's out there that says, like, here's a beholder, here's how tall they
Volo-
are, here's where their weak points are. Is that really?
Volo is a eccentric nutcase that wanders the world looking to chronicle the details of the various beasts and flora and fauna of this realm.
Yes, Volo's Guide to Monsters is the best-selling book in Waterdeep this year.
But, like, how accurate is it?
That's the problem.
It is known to be adventurer approved and does have a foreword written by Kelvin Blackstaff himself. Admittedly, the foreword reads, "I was asked to write this foreword, so you should read this book, Kelvin Blackstaff." But that's far more words than he normally devotes to anyone outside of the arcane arts.
I don't rule out the fact that Blackstone owed Volo a debt.
The fact
maybe
remains.
not as crazy or unhinged as rumors would say. I mean, if this is a guy who has actually seen beholders enough to, like, know their anatomy to write a chapter about it, then he's got to have some power to him.
Volo's name is known to my family.
I do have question. What exactly is a beholder?
So I saw some graffiti of a beholder, like 2 blocks down. Apparently they look like a giant ball with, like, tentacles that come off of the ball, but each of those tentacles has an eye at the end, and the ball is just like a mouth and an eye. At least that's what the graffiti looked like.
Oh, but why?
I don't know. I think they're kind of... Aren't they, like, one of those things that aren't born, they're made? Like a wizard did it or some shit?
That's more or less everything I know.
Let's get, it sounds like, an Arcana check from everybody. And I'm about to scare the crap out of chat.
Wait, you want it from everybody? Okay.
Yeah,
that's about
you
right.
never know. You might have heard some weird nonsense.
Calder has a 20. A dirty 20, but still.
Yeah, totally. So, Calder...
Don't miss Charlotte. I don't miss Charlotte. Oh, she would have gotten so good on this roll.
Wait, why did that roll not work?
Yeah, I only saw Echo and Calder.
Hold on, let me try again. That's...
Not bad. So actually...
Yeah, my first one was a 2, which was what I was expecting.
So, Kreetha, I'm going to get to you in a second, Calder. Kreetha, once you get a description of the thing, you're like, oh yes, we had something similar to that, but not quite the same. You know that there are these floating creatures with separate eyes, except that you're used to them being cold and dead, and you're used to them being something you run away from. Period. End of discussion. Run away. Like, there are zombie dinosaurs, there are zombie people, there are zombies, and then there's zombie that, and you know that you don't want to go anywhere near it.
This is bad.
So you know now what they're describing isn't that, but you recognize some similarities. Now, Calder, you know a few things about beholders. First off, their many eye stalks have terrifying powers that they can direct at as many different targets as they wish. Secondly, they have an innate levitation capability. And third, their large central eye produces an anti-magic field in front of it that makes it impossible for anything that is magical to function within it. Which does, incidentally with a 20, also mean that if you're standing in its anti-magic field, you cannot be harmed by its eye rays.
So it's a trade-off.
Yes. Oh, and one more thing, Durnan says from the corner. Durnan says, the beholder is known to wear magical rings on its stalks. The function of such rings is currently unknown, but we know that one of them allows it to become invisible at will.
Oh, that's fun.
Joy of choice.
So that is
supposed to try and...
a thing to prepare for if you think to steal from this creature.
And he's too angry and evil for us to ask or bargain.
The asking, but
Not that I have
beholders
anything to
are
give. But
beholders are pathologically narcissistic. They cannot envision a world that does not put them firmly at the top of the food chain.
With that said, Durnan continues, it is possible to flatter or bribe or impress the Xanathar, and perhaps it will grant you a boon. Perhaps it will grant you the staff, if that is your wish, if you do something suitably heroic, something suitably in its best interest, something that impresses it.
what would impress a creature like that?
Well, and you know he likes fish.
Barnabas will go ahead and jump in here. He's also one of the largest crime syndicate bosses in the city. And he's known to run a tournament ring in his lair.
What if we found him a really big fish?
He likes
Like big goat
his
fish.
He likes his fish.
That's the reality of it, Durnan says.
We tell him the fish got really big.
I think with the amount of magic he has under his power, if he could make, like, if he wanted a bigger fish, he could probably just make his fish bigger. I don't think that's something he's in need of. But if he runs a tournament, is he known to grant boons to the champions of that tournament?
When he is sufficiently impressed, yes, on occasion.
That's one option.
That's not a bad idea. The trouble is that any
You'd be able
I would
to
rather not do
impress him,
anything
and
that-
you'd be able to impress him, but I'm pretty certain I would not be able to impress him.
Kretha, you deeply underestimate your talent.
The Xanathar does
Calder?
have goblins under its employ.
Calder, I have literally watched you explode things with your mind, with magic.
Yes.
You meet completely different levels.
When this is done, over pastries and coffee, I'm going to introduce you to coffee. We are going to sit down and we're going to have a nice, long, frank discussion about what it is you can do, because I'm just too tired to play therapist at the moment.
Yeah, you look a lot. You spend a lot on that fight right there. You look a little tapped out.
Calder will take a deep breath. I'm expending my effect of my spellcaster. I'm converting a spell into spell points. I'll be fine. I just need to recharge.
And I need to get Stinky back.
Yes. And we need to come up with a plan on how we're going to attack this problem. Infiltrating the guild is a possibility. We are well known now. It's possible, in fact probable, that the Xanathar will know our faces at this time.
We also
Barnabas.
We also just had a very successful fight, so it's possible that he would see us as probable candidates for his fighting circle.
On the other hand, if we think we can simply walk in and walk out, that is possible. If we could sneak in, maybe replace the fish using some kind of back entrance. My contact with the fish tells me that he has one. We could simply sneak in, replace the fish, take the staff, and sneak out. But if we are caught, the consequences could be dire. Xanathar does not live alone, and he is never without his minions.
Yeah, but what are the consequences of doing poorly in the tournament? Is this a to the death kind of fighting?
Not usually, but it depends on his mood. Sometimes he throws in things that aren't people.
And he's powerful enough and influential enough to generally get what he wants within specific limits.
I am much better at being sneaky.
I could go either way.
My talents veer towards violence, but I do have a certain mastery over darkness.
Durnan sort of looks up and says, there is one other option. I have a friend who has a friend who is one of the trusted advisors to Xanathar. I could put you in contact, and there is a possibility, although I hear this is difficult but possible, that you could bring the entire guild hall down. You could simply cause a series of explosions or some other kind of very large distraction, and while everyone is looking the other way, grab what you need and leave.
Would that kill people?
And why would we want to destroy the guild hall if the staff is still in the guild hall?
Perhaps I am simply speaking wistfully, because the Xanathar Guild has been bad for business at times.
You want them to fall. Okay, it's all right if you have your own interest. Just good to voice it. We can all work with each other's ideas.
I think that our first order of business should be to examine our options. I have resources I could examine in the city that might be useful.
Yes, this is not entirely time limited venture. Yes, they're always very, very eager to change out the fish, but I don't believe it will be dying within the next week or two, or even perhaps 3. We have some time here. You can take some time and plan if you wish.
You say that Xanathar likes to hire goblins.
I do know 2 of those.
We do have. I am goblin, obviously, and Echo. I would not assume to volunteer anyone, but is it bad idea to maybe get hired only to steal and run? That's usually how goblins do it. You know, we like to do things. I don't know.
No crime lord would admit to a theft.
Barnabas kind of...
It would make it a very, very big target on our heads, but I feel like anything we do here is going to cause big target on head. So would it be easier to have us infiltrate by sneaky, or by tournament, or being an employee?
The employee route. I don't. We'd have to split up to do it. So
it also has
an advantage there.
It also has unfortunate baggage as implicating you in connection with the Xanathar Syndicate.
It is a possibility, and in fact, goblin or not, infiltrating the organization is not impossible. It is definitely possible to be put into contact with the right people. Barnabas is going to kind of scratch his beard, and he'll say, but in order to impress the Xanathar enough to gain its trust, it is very likely we would have to commit acts that we would not otherwise commit.
I say we should meditate on it, sleep, rest, otherwise enjoy the city while we're here.
Durnan sort of peeks up and says, yes, I hear that you're in the market for some magical items. Word gets around.
Word does get around. Careful with that smile. Oh, there, the smile there, Durnan. Your teeth are showing.
Well, you are welcome here, and your drinks are on me. But my accommodations are perhaps, and he looks at Calder, not quite up to your specifications. But you are welcome here for as long as you wish.
His specifications are different.
I'm sure Mr. Durnan is very aware of my family.
All right. So we'll reconvene tomorrow to make a more solid plan. Now that we know what our options are, we can sleep on them. We've got to get your frog back, and y'all are waiting for magical items to show up. How many days is that going to take?
I don't know. We're going to be checking with our contact tomorrow.
I was looking for a crossbow, but I may not need one now. I mean, I now have crossbow. So this may be awkward for
do you
me
want
to
to
talk to the merchant.
Echo, do you want to join us?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll tag along.
Pastries, coffee.
Oh, I don't like coffee. It's too bitter.
So we're going to go ahead and say there being not a bunch of really important like instantaneous things happening right now. Thank you, Lionar, for being here. Check out the VOD later. Please do, because the next bit is going to be a lot of fun, I think. I'm going to say that 3 days go by without any, like, anything interesting happening, unless you are absolutely married to the idea of talking the next day.
We will check in the next day, but
the one thing I wanted to roleplay was helping Kretha figure out how to bring Stinky back.
Ah, yes.
It's like a ritual that needs like ingredients and shit, right?
Yes, it's like this is the first time that Stinky has been discorporated, and it was a very specific ritual that she did with a lot of people, not a lot of people, but with her trainers and stuff when she was, you know, kind of graduating up to her rangership, as it were, in a very goblin-esque manner, I will say.
So you've never done the ritual by yourself before.
Never done the ritual by myself. This is the first time that Stinky is discorporated.
So yeah, I think, this night people are taking a second to breathe. Echo will, go buy drinks for those people that helped them out in the fight. But then it's going to see like, yeah, so do you have everything you need with Kretha? Do you need like a certain type of space to do it in? Do you need like trees?
Okay, so what is the usual reincorporation ritual?
I don't know why on your character sheet would be abilities.
Okay, I don't know.
It'd be under the description of Stinky and your ability to interact with him. It should mention there what you have to do to resummon him.
Let me see here. I've got to find it because everything was a little weird.
Yeah. Beastmaster.
With mine.
Ranger's Companion.
Yeah, but it wasn't Ranger's Companion because I was doing the Primal Companion.
Oh, right. It was the Primal Companion.
And that's what my question is, because it's not listed on here. It's only listed as Ranger's Companion. I mean, I could BS something.
Yeah, I've got Ranger's Companion.
Yeah,
hold on. I'm going to check that one really quick.
Yeah, I would assume that it would involve.
What do you got, Jeff?
If the beast has died within the last hour, you can spend your action to touch it, expend a spell slot of first level or higher, and the beast returns to life after 1 minute.
Yeah, but that's the regular companion, not the primal, right?
No, that is the primal companion. That is straight out of Primal Companion.
Nice. Okay.
So no, it's literally you can go to where he died, touch it, spend a spell slot, and he comes back.
Do you have a spell slot left?
I do have a spell slot.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
I only used 2.
So
when you finish, and here's what happens. When you finish a long rest, you may summon a different primal beast. The new beast appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you, and you choose its stat, block, and appearance. If you already have a beast from this feature, it vanishes and the new beast appears.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. So you don't know the extent of your powers. Kretha has mentioned that a few times. So we finish up this chat. Kretha goes and walks out the door and sees Stinky still there. Like I'm going to retcon slightly. He didn't quite discorporate. His body is still there because of what Jeff just said.
Yes.
And we're totally gonna pull an Ashen Pikachu. So like Kreetha is going to approach Stinky's body now that the immediate danger is over, and perhaps emotion overcomes her, and perhaps a single teardrop falls from her eyes and
She's
lands
emotional.
on the
This is
once
some straight
oily
up Sailor Moon
skin
shit. I love it.
of her absolute best friend in the world, and it inflates like a balloon for a moment and looks up at you with one eye rolling all the way back and says, "Brah."
There we go.
I think that's an
Sorry
excellent
about
way
the
to go.
Yelling cat. Don't know why he's just yelling at me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna say,
Stinky.
Stinky, don't ever leave me again.
Let us celebrate with food and dessert.
cat, just giving chat the kitty, because the chat obviously wants the kitty, so there it
He's
is.
been screaming and just like screaming. He just wants he just ate dinner, and he absolutely requires to be held after dinner. But instead of going to Dad, who's in the bedroom and can easily cuddle him, he's just been screaming in the hall like an idiot.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So we're gonna
All
say that some wheels are turning in the background. Durnan is making a few calls, as it were, and you are kind of living in the lap of luxury for the last 3 days.
I've already marked the funds on my sheet spent.
3 days later, what we're gonna do is there is a message for you in the inbox that is provided for you, which says that you have a meeting with Marlin the Magnificent, purveyor of magical trinkets, whenever is most convenient to you, obviously. And second, we get our second Gazette of Waterdeep. Yes, our second Gazette of Waterdeep, which is what we're going to do, and then after that we're going to take our break. So, I would like each of you to consider one rumor that happened within Waterdeep in the last 3 days in the Gazette. The first thing, while you're thinking about that, is the very, very top headline. Fireball goes off in the North End. You find that there is a story, a paragraph, about a fireball being detonated right outside of Trollskull Manor, which is only just under new ownership. You know that several people died in the fireball, and that investigations are currently underway. Jeff, why don't you give me a quick rumor that is in the Gazette?
Local baker found murdered floating in the harbor. Large stale rolls found stuffed in mouth. Event has been ruled an accident.
It's escalating. We will also say there's an advertisement for Volo's book. So Volo is doing a book signing at a particular tavern at a particular time, and he is looking to promote himself a little bit and sell more of his books. And the price for the book has been slashed in half for anybody who wishes to attend this particular signing. It seems like his book isn't selling very well. Jen, why don't you give us a rumor of something that happened in Waterdeep over the last 3 days?
A giant frog has been sighted. Put your pets away. They will go missing.
Wow, that's ominous.
They are carnivores.
They are.
Yeah.
They are carnivores. Yes.
Chaos in the Yawning Portal. For the second time in as many months, trolls have exited the Yawning Portal into the Yawning Portal and attempted to accost the customers. But again, as last time, a brave group of adventurers fought off the trolls. There are roughly drawn images of each of you
Oh no.
in various action poses with the trolls.
Did they get my flaming hand?
They
include
did. The two main pictures are, yes, the flaming hand as it is being driven into the gut of the troll, and the venom troll, spitting acid as it falls into the Yawning Portal. And there's Barnabas's face in just absolute exquisite detail on the front page of the Gazette.
Rumored dwarven king.
Yes. And
this mysterious dwarven warrior.
It refers to him as an unknown dwarf, but there definitely does appear to be inquiries as to who all of these incredibly valiant and strong adventurers are who drove these trolls away. Before anyone was hurt, there was no casualties whatsoever.
Well, I mean, Durnan got his shit rocked, but with one hit, but
Durnan does not show up in the article at all. Durnan's name does not come up in the article at all.
So that particular page that has that really good illustration of Barnabas Echo is going to just keep that.
He's going to clip it, yeah.
Yes.
During these 3 days, I would imagine that Kretha would basically be watching Echo's obvious relationship.
Well, how obvious is the relationship? Are we done with the rumors? Or?
No, absolutely not. Gale, what is a rumor that happened in Waterdeep in the last 3 days?
So I'm thinking less of a rumor, more of an announcement. The autumn equinox is happening this weekend, and it's a bunch of different churches and temples throughout Waterdeep that have posted when their equinox services will be being held in the different quarters and such like that. Kind of like a Christmas tree lighting sort of thing. Like they all have different times, and if you schedule it right, you could do a crawl and hit them all.
And then the very, very last headline at the bottom of the last page is, "How much wood could a were-woodchuck chuck? We investigate next week." And that will be the end of the rumors.
Next week, 9 dead from lycanthropy attack.
Let's go ahead and it's a perfect time to take a break. We're going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break after we look at the kitty some more. Oh, look at the kitty.
I have my second drawing monitor set up right in front of me, so if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at y'all's lovely faces.
So we're going to go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do some bargaining for magical items. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You should definitely stick around if you're here. And do remember that if you want to ask any questions, you can highlight your message or just ask questions, and we will try to get to them all at the end during our talkback show in the last hour or half an hour or 45 minutes or whatever of our time here. Thank you for being with us so far. We will be back in 10 minutes. It is currently 7:51 p.m. Pacific. We will be back at 8:01 p.m. Pacific. Stick around.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye.